My name is William Penn, and you're here at the Drug-Free Community Grand Boulevard Coalition. And today I am your host. Again, my name is William Penn. I am the president of Grand Boulevard Coalition. And we will be talking about, as always, drug-free community, but we'll specialize or zero in on an upcoming event that we will have the third Saturday of September, which will be our opioid, hold on. It will be our, there we go, sorry about that. Our Bronzeville Speaks, Opioid, the Addiction Crisis, a Community Response. The dialogue continue and it is be part 3. And in our wonderful part 3, we're doing something a little different. We're bringing the political people in the first hour and have them do a fireside chat talking about new initiatives and how to combat that problem in our community. Part 2 is something very, very new for us and hopefully most people are familiar with, but if not, I will talk about it. We're going to do a thing called, we're going to do a talk, and the talk is going to be like an individual, Mr. Abraham, who's a passionate person who deals with addiction crisis and how to fight through it and come out positive and successful on the other side. So he will get up and do a wonderful a tape event. Actually, we'll be taping it for YouTube, and different components where people can watch the talk. So that fireside chat talk with Mr. Abraham will also be our second hour. And then we'll conclude with our third hour with training. We're going to be doing training for people who are interested in having a working knowledge. So if you did see somebody pass out on the street from a opioid overdose and want to administer a particular drug to save their lives, and how to go about doing that and the right way of doing it. But not only that, learning and looking at people, making sure that that's what's happening, how not only to dial 911, but be, as I guess is what we're calling people today, being the new first responder in your community. All that will take place the third Saturday in September. All of that will take place on the campus of Illinois Tech, formerly known as IIT, and that'll be at 10 West 35th Street, what we like to call the Tower, right across the street from the Starbucks. So again, that's the wonderful news. That's why I am here today and not your normal host, Oberdeli. I decided to come out, kick them out the studio, and really talk to you guys about that. And hopefully we got some great callers. I know usually when I'm here, we get 2 or 3 people calling in about how they kick the opioid addiction, or if there's an issue where they might have questions. So let's zero in a little closer now. So with the Grand Boulevard Coalition and our drug-free community, we really work with youth, and we take them and teach them, especially the ones who do not currently use drugs or alcohol or cigarettes, and say, well, that's a wonderful thing. And now that you're not ostracized, or you're the geek or the person off to the side, you're now in favor or in the majority group. How can you help your other younger brothers and sisters and your brothers and sisters in your class to continue and be just like you? And so we give them the information and the strength and empower them to go out there and do that. But as I've been going through the community and talking to a lot of groups and a lot of representatives and a lot of people, we've been beginning to find that there is another fast-growing group of use of opioids, but another growing group that is not being addressed or having a lot of support and help on the fringe. So not only are we dealing with the youth, it looks like we might have to bring some of the elderly, the senior citizen population, the people in my age group over 50 and up, who don't have the help or the needs, and they're in pain and they need some type of help. And now we're finding that they may be getting the front line help in services, but once they leave that 1 hour doctor visit for the next 23 hours in that day, and for the rest of that week, they're out there on their own. They don't have a place to go and sit and maybe talk with like-minded people, or people like themselves who are going through issues and problems, and being able to say, hey, what are you doing to keep clean, or what are you doing to find time to do other things and get involved, and just having, I think one of the words that I've learned from being around church folks, some fellowshipping. So I think that that's a great ideal, and so one of the things that we're doing at Grand Boulevard Coalition is to continue this conversation about the addiction crisis. We're trying to bring we're not even trying, professionals from around the country and the city are coming to our forums and our talks and our speaks, because we have all types of people there. We have people from current users to addiction specialists who help work with these people. And they're looking for clients, or they're looking for people to continue to help, because they might be in Austin and we're in the Bronzeville community. They've not seen a lot of people coming over to them, so they're having all these resources but not enough people. And there are other places like maybe the Bronzeville community where we don't have a lot of resources, but we have a lot of potential patients or people that can utilize the resources. So we bring all those people together, and before you know it, we have prayer circles at our meetings. We have almost like an AA meeting where people get in a circle and kind of branch off on their own and talk about it. And they really appreciate what we do, and they always thank us. And not only that, you get a great meal out of it. One of our corporate sponsors is Jimmy John's, and they come through every month when we do our talks, and making sure we have sandwich and cookies and juice and all the good things that get you at least a nourishing lunch for the day. Okay. So that was a mouthful. I'm giving you guys a second to kind of take that all in, and I will move on to what I think from talking to hundreds and hundreds of people about these crises, about a drug-free community, about how people are using these drugs. And we put marijuana to the side because that's almost like a recreational drug now. It's almost like alcohol, but when alcohol is just a one-drink person or a two-drink, and you don't do it every day. And we talk to people and say, okay, why do you do this? Why are you taking sleeping pills? Why are you taking different types of drugs to kill a pain, even if it was a real pain or a mental pain? And what we found out that a lot of people saying, hey, I just don't have nobody to talk through what I'm going through. People don't understand what I'm going through. And I found that in a lot of different communities and a lot of different places, people want to say that they're listening to you and they want you to talk and to do stuff, but they're right. They're just not listening. Sometimes you just gotta, I tell my kids all the time, just shut up and listen. You don't have to talk. There's one thing I'm really good at. I can shut up. Really don't like to talk anyway, so I'm amazed that I'm here on TV with you guys. But the problem I found that people just want somebody to listen. Just sit back and listen and say, okay, I'm hearing you. Talk to me. Get it out. Because once people get it out of their head, they can hear themselves saying it, and they can feel, okay, they're probably working through it when they say it out loud and talk. But when they don't have nobody to talk to, or a group or a circle or whatever, it's in their head, and when you're not really talking it out, you don't really feel that there's an answer, and then you try to find where the pain or where the need, where the problem is, and then you might want to start blaming other people, where when you get to talk it out amongst yourself but out loud, you wound up saying, oh, okay, I'm strong enough to fight through this problem and how I can actually deal with it. So those are all the things that I bring to the table when I and my great team put on these Bronzeville Speaks. Again, right now we're housed at Illinois Tech, formerly known as IIT. We're at 10 West 35th Street. They're on the campus in the tower there. And some of the events that we've had in the past, we've had upwards of 100 people show up, and they talk about their issues and their problems. The last one we just had last month, a coalition of great people came from the Pilsen community, and they got to tell us what their needs are there, what do they do not have, how to work with their youth to keep them from using and help to keep them out of pain and out of trouble. And then they're beginning to see the same thing with our aging community. Why are there not more resources out there for our aging community, being that that's the fastest growing group that's out there today. People are living longer, and we need us to make sure everybody is staying healthy and staying at the best of their game, so where they can continue living a good and happy life. At this point, let's go back to the overhead and make sure that people who are watching us today understand again. This is Grand Boulevard Coalition and our parent organization, Grand Boulevard Prevention Services. The good news is most youth don't use. That's our motto. I probably get that tattoo on my arm. And we do a wonderful series, which is every month. It's on a different topic, but one topic that we continue to do under Bronzeville Speak is opioids, the addiction crisis and community response. One of the things that we found, there we go, I'm back, is people love starting conversations. That is the most thing. If you're on Facebook, any of the social media, you watch any of the talk shows, they love to start a conversation. And once the conversation is started, there are some, but there's not a lot of places for people to go to continue the conversation, to find a solution. And I always say, let's start a conversation, but what's the end result of that conversation? What is what are we trying to do when we start this conversation? So a year ago when I started the opioid conversation in our community, I went out and looked and see what were people saying, what was the issue, what is the issue, in my case, in Bronzeville, the greater Grand Crossing area, the greater Washington area, and this is basically the south side of Chicago. And then I said, these are the issues. It wasn't a major issue. I went to the hospitals with a group of high schoolers and college, and we did surveys and see what they were saying, the amount of people that was coming in there and why. And we found that it wasn't at epidemic portions as it is in some communities, especially in the suburbs, and so on and so forth. So then we went to the Cook County Drug Task Force and say, who do you guys partner with? And they partnered with Will County. So we went to Will County and see what they're doing, because the epidemic of opioid use, the epidemic of those new e-cigarettes was exploding all over the place. And there were money and there was issues of how to kind of curb that, and what type of legislation they were doing to help stem the tide so they can get in front of it. And so when they told us the stuff they were doing, we were like, man, that's great. You should bring what you're doing and these people back here to our community in Bronzeville and to the south side, and let us hear what you're doing, and you can hear what we're doing. And at the end of the day, the amazing thing was they took more stuff from us back to what they were doing, because we were ahead of a problem that wasn't really exploding as it was in the suburbs, and how they can now utilize some of those. And so when we get back together at the 6-month point, and not the third one, but part 4, we're going to now say, okay, after 6 months, this is what we've been doing, this is what you've been doing, here's some educational stuff, what can we do to move forward? I see I have a caller, and yes, caller.
Yes, sir. Great show.
Thank you, sir. And how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. And I can see you doing well also.
Well, whenever I get to come on here and get to talk to you is always a great thing. How have you been?
Vice versa, sir. I smoke and drink for 35 years.
Okay.
My health was going down, and I finally said, you know what? I'm just going to quit. I couldn't quit right there, and I quit. It took me 2 years
Yes.
to quit smoking. It took me a year to quit drinking. But I had to do it. I had to do it. So if anybody wants to do it, it's got to come from you first. If you need a little bit of help, that's fine. But if it's not in you, it's not. I don't care how much help you seek, you're not going to get it. You have to have it in you.
Right. No, I totally agree with you. You should come out to our story. Maybe I can highlight you as one of the people who kind of kicked the bucket and they're on the other side and lead one of our groups
Well, I'm 70 years old. I don't get around very well anymore. But could you just tell everybody, if you have it in you, you're going to do it. That's 100%. If you don't have it in you, it's 100% the other way. You're not going to kick the habit. So it has to be in you, and then you have a fighting chance, a good fighting chance. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you. And you're right. You're right. And so I would definitely say what you just said to make sure everybody heard that. And as he said, if you have it in you to kick the habit, you will kick the habit. And to parlay on that, what I was saying was, if you have it in you, but you need to talk to somebody about how to kick the habit, or you need some help in reference to where to go, that's where Grand Boulevard Coalition comes in. That's where our pack of all of our sisters and organizations come together and give you the resources to kick that habit. And I really appreciate you, caller. And if you do start exercising and get up so you can start moving around a little better, I want to extend an invitation for you to come to one of our events and maybe speak, because you speak on here, and I enjoy speaking with you the once a month or whenever I come by and sit and talk with everybody about my passion and what we're doing, and my passion in general, and getting the word out about the opioid addiction, and how a drug-free community is a healthy community, and we need more healthy communities across the country. But in my case, I want to make sure that the Bronzeville community and the Grand Boulevard community is a healthy community. As we wait for our next caller, let me show that flyer again just to make sure everybody have it on their calendar. And here we go. Oh, wait a minute, wrong thing here. Hold on. There we go. It's coming up soon, and if you cannot see that that website at the bottom, just go to our Facebook page on the Grand Boulevard Coalition, and all the information that you need. But as long as you know that it is the third Saturday in September. And people are saying, William, stop saying the third Saturday in September, but what is that Saturday? And that Saturday is the 4th. It's the 22nd of September. From 11 to 3, we will be at IIT, better known as now Illinois Tech. We will be doing opioid, the addiction crisis, a community response, and it's the part 3 in our 4-part, 6-part series. We're going to keep talking about it until we come up with some solutions on kicking this problem. And I see I'm going to go from back to me, and I have another caller. Caller, thank you for spending some of your afternoon with me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thank you for taking the call. You know, I just want to piggyback a little what Ray, your last caller, was saying. You know, I've been a friend of Bill over 20 years now.
Okay.
And I heard, like what you said earlier, the most greatest tool that a person ever would need is to take the cotton out of their ears and put it in their mouth and just listen. That's what makes things so wonderful. You just listen to what other people say. You're going to hear your stories somewhere along the line. Now, to piggy what Ray was stating, sure, it starts out with you at first, but we know it's God that we also got to use to help us to get along over these little addictions that people have. And not little addictions that could really literally take your life away from you. So a good thing is to continue to help people such as you and your group Because the most wonderful thing, you get a chance to hear other people's problems. And everyone has a problem. Sometimes you have a problem, you don't even know that you got it, but you're going to hear something, and you're going to say, it'll be just like the light turning on in your head. So sometimes you can resolve issues by just only listening. Again, the greatest tool that you got to have is to listen. Just shut up and be quiet and just listen. So a good thing that you do, I appreciate that you take your time out and come to share things. Listen, you're doing a wonderful job. Even if you just make one person think about it, just think about it. You did your job for the day. So listen, I want to thank you so much for taking this call. And let me get out there so I can hear your response. And again, thanks for taking the call.
Thank you. And you are so right. We should make T-shirts and just saying, shut up and listen. And with that, I'll talk about a little more what you're saying. And right, we've learned, us older people have learned from our parents and learned from school and going to church that sometimes you just got to listen and shut up. And we learned that if you got something heavy on your heart, especially if you're a person of the church, that you have to say it out loud so where God, Jesus, Jehovah, whoever you pray to can hear it. And with that, hearing it will help ease your burden. And that's what I've been thrust in as my calling in life, is to listen to people. I spend pretty much of my day doing that and trying to connect and help people with their problems and issues and in various parts of life. And not have to be something negative or something bad. It could just be, I talk to kids all the time, like where to go to college, or now I'm working with a couple of kids on where they should go to high school, just to make sure that fit and to make sure that they have leadership quality and skills, so no matter where they go, they can take this message of the drug-free community and take the message that most youth don't use with them to wherever they go, into high school and on into college, so where we can keep our communities and keep our kids safe. Because once they're away from us in high school, and of course away from us, and I have a couple in college, that unfortunately, hopefully all the banging and the hitting over the head of how to do right and be right and don't do this and watch this and so on and so forth, and all that nagging as we told that we're due, goes to fruition, that they come back home each year for Christmas, and obviously at the end of the school year for their summer break, and they just healthy, and they move to another step closer to completing what they're trying to do. But thank you for your call, and Ray, it's always good to talk to both you guys, and I hope you guys are telling your friends to cut the TV on and watch the show, because they might hear something that they'd like to hear, because I know a lot of you guys live in the community there and you watch us, and we live stream our actual responses and our talks on Saturdays on Facebook, and you guys are on there, and we have a lot of views, and eventually I might go viral on you guys and just have something out there that people just get excited about, and so that's what I look forward to doing. And I know we're coming up to the top of the hour, and hopefully we get one or two more callers in, but I always like to learn how to go to the overhead and make sure you guys are on it, to know that, again, September 23rd, we are having Opioids 3. I'm sorry, September 22nd. My producer is correcting me. They always jump on me because I never do what I'm supposed to be doing. And now they're yelling and screaming at me over there. But anyway, I'm going to get back to me, and there I am. And you know what? I love September, and so I'm going to have to do a personal plug. 9/11 is my birthday. So I have some exciting stuff that I'm going to do. But it's not going to involve no drugs, no alcohol, none of that stuff. It's just going to be myself and my kids eating ice cream cake and having a wonderful time, and just preparing for this upcoming event that we're having, because they are part of it and they like doing events, and so we just get together, and literally they're tired of me because that's all I talk about, is all the wonderful events and all the things that they can be a part of, and get them out there and let them be some of the future leaders of this world. And I just want to thank CAN TV. I would love to thank Grand Boulevard Coalition for electing me their president. I would like to thank Grand Boulevard Prevention Service to continue to fund these wonderful opioid speaks. Bronzeville Speaks. And I would like to just say that thank you so much. And I'll be back next week. And thank you.